This is the ultimate TDS tower, War Machine. You've probably seen them or heard them before, but do you know the true stats of this tower? Well, this tower has existed since 2020, when it was supposed to be a skin for minigunner or commando by this guy. But below was like, you know what? Let's make it a tower. And so here it is. It is currently an exclusive tower for staff member of TDS, so you don't get it anywhere else except for being a staff member of TDS. Since this is an exclusive tower in TDS, it should be really overpowered, right? Yes, of course it is. War Machine has an extremely high DPS for how much it costs on each level. And for you curious folk who wanted to know more about this tower, then you came to the right video. I am glad to have the perk as a staff member for TDS so I can use War Machine and make any game I play much easier. I know you really love overpowered tower, because most of the TDS fanbase would absolutely cry every time towers gets nerfed for balancing reason. That's why I made this video, to show you how really overpowered this War Machine tower is. Let's go! Before we review each level of War Machine, here's a quick rundown on what kind of tower War Machine is. This tower is a DPS and a support hybrid, capable of dishing out massive DPS for a very low cost. This tower has a placement limit of 10, which is crazy because one max engineer with all 4 sentries still has less DPS than one max War Machine. This tower is designed for both mid-game and late-game. However, it has a starting cost of $2,000, which means I can kinda use it as an early game tower. But that's probably a bad idea, but not because it can't do enough DPS, because it surely does enough DPS, but this tower has no hidden detection until max level. Unless I brought UAV, I should not use this tower as an early game defense. It is also a support tower because it gives other tower, including other War Machine, a damage boost of 10% at level 3 and 4, and then 20% at max level. Because War Machine is another source of damage boost, it can stack with both Red Track DJ Boot and also max level Mercenary Base, giving a total of 60% damage boost permanently. That's really bonkers. And the max level is slightly cheaper than max Mercenary Base, which is wild because it also does way more DPS than Mercenary Base whilst providing the same exact buffs. That's crazy and all, but what are the exact stats of each level of this tower? Well, let's start with level 0, which as I said before, costs $200,000. This tower boasts 20 DPS for such a cheap price. To put this into perspective, level 0 turret has 33 DPS for $6,000, which means 3 level 0 War Machine already out DPS level 0 turret by 27 DPS for the same price. But unfortunately, it is a bad idea to do that either way because at this level, War Machine range is a bit too small. It only has 12 range, which means it can't dish out its 20 DPS effectively due to the lack of coverage. So you need to place it strategically. But there's no need for that because the next level would look pointless at first, but it actually makes the tower much better. Because level 1 costs $250 and it increases range by 6. And that's it, there's no other stats upgrade, but this makes its range 18. But guess what? 18 range happens to be the exact same range as max level Golden Minigunner, so it is quite significant even though there is no DPS changes. Level 1 is a really cheap upgrade, and it allows War Machine to shred targets from a much further distance when its previous level DPS is already good enough. Now level 0 and level 1 War Machine may seem OP, but that overpoweredness is nothing compared to the crazy level 2 upgrade. This is because level 2 only costs $650, and it increases its damage by 1, so total of 3 damage. But it also gives it a missile launcher, meaning it can do AoE damage, and it can indirectly hit hiddens and balloons, and it can also damage lead because explosion by default can hit leads. The missile does 20 damage, which fires every 5 seconds, and it has an explosion radius of 5, so it is a bit small, but considering the gun does 30 DPS already, you can't really argue. The gun does most of the killing already. This is the War Machine level I typically spam in order to form a secure defense for less than $3,000 each. But this won't save me from the threats of hidden enemies because this tower has no detection of any kind until max level. Level 3 massively upgrades its gun damage by 5, so a total of 8 damage. And it gets a passive ability for only $5,000. This passive ability, which I have said before, is a 10% damage boost. This damage boost affects all towers that do at least 10 damage. This buff affects other tower, including other war machine, which has the highest DPS at max level. The fact that the highest DPS tower can be affected when engineer sentry scan makes it absolutely crazy powerhouse. However, this tower cannot buff itself, only other towers. Aside from passive damage boost, War Machine itself has a massive DPS upgrade, so now it does 80 DPS that choose through early mid-game enemies. However, it is still bad against hidden, but by utilizing the damage boost, you can just boost towers that do have hidden detection. Now on to level 4. It has 12 gun damage, 2 more range, and the missile launcher is improved, shooting out 4 missiles that does 40 damage each, every 4 seconds, with an explosion radius of 6. All of this only costs 12,500, so for a total price of 2,400, you're looking at 150 DPS. It absolutely blows other late game towers out of the water in terms of cost efficiency. The Weasel is really good for clearing plenty of small HP enemies condensed together, so the gun doesn't waste too much DPS on the weaker enemy. It is more powerful when combined with other support towers to buff this beast. But one problem remains, it still doesn't have any detection. Despite all the crazy weapon it has, it can't be used to kill hidden, leads, or balloons effectively. How annoying, this is a war machine, I want a real war machine. And so, I will introduce you to level 5. Oh man, this thing is a beast. It does 40 damage with 26 range, and the missile launcher is better too. If you haven't noticed, the upgrade names are all capitalized and overly exaggerated, because it's just that overpowered lol. From level 0 to max, this tower has consistent fire rate, which is 0.1. That is one fun fact about this tower. But who cares, let's see how OP it is. The improved missile launcher of this tower makes it able to shoot 4 missiles that do 80 damage each every 4 seconds. So it's more than double the power of level 4. Still, it has the same explosion radius as level 4, which is 6. But the best part about it is the gun DPS, not the missile launcher. In addition to 20% damage boost, which can stack with other damage buffing towers like DJ Boot and Mercenary Base, it is more OP that I can place 10 of them because the placement limit is 10, which most other late game tower don't have, despite them having less DPS than War Machine. It is so powerful that I can solo hit it away. Anyway, War Machine is a really awesome admin tower, except it's not actually an admin tower, it's a tower for moderators of TDS Discord, which are lower ranked than admin. A real admin tower would be Mecha Base, but it's actually less stronger than War Machine. You could have the chance to get War Machine by filling out an application for moderators in the TDS Discord if it's available. You still need to be lucky to get accepted by the administrator team. But you need to be prepared for the tedious task of being a moderator, that is, babysitting an entire community. Otherwise, you will lose your War Machine. War Machine is insanely powerful, and I would totally love to carry my fans on anything in TDS if I can make a time for it. So, if you want a chance to play with me for my War Machine, join my Discord server. Also, if you like this content and want to see more content about something special in TDS, leave a like on this video and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.